everyone. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Lien Gangte, with us today. Welcome back to VNN News. Mr. Lien Gangte is from France and he runs a Kafé Kanggui in France in Brest. He specializes in northeastern food and Indian food over there, bringing a little bit of home to a place that is completely foreign to what is known as home to us. Thank you, Uncle, for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Let's start with the questions.
Yeah.
You come from Kanggui in Manipur.
Yeah.
How has your upbringing over there shaped your worldview and your commitment to community work?
So basically my upbringing is I was brought up by a single mother and my father left when I was very little, so I never knew who my father was, to be honest. So we had to live with certain amount of poverty and so a very modest background, I would say. But I'm never shy about that. I'm very grateful for whatever I had, for the little things that I had, and it has also taught me a lot of lessons in life. And one thing is that not to rely too much on others and be very independent and look out for yourself and trust God along the process.
Yes.
So that's what my upbringing is, and that's how I see the world now. As I have been helped in the past, I also want to help whoever is in need. So
Yes, Uncle, that's a very inspiring worldview. We aspire to share your commitment to this. And you have started Kanggui Hope. But what exactly inspired this beginning, and what were the earliest challenges that you faced while building this community over there?
Kanggui Hope came about when I got my work permit to work in the UK. I was grateful for that kind of opportunities because work permit in the UK doesn't come to everybody, and I was fortunate enough to work with people who believed in what my contribution was to the charity, and then they agreed to get a work permit for me. And when I got that, I felt this enormous amount of gratitude to God and to the situation. So I said to my mom, I said, from now on, I like to sort of start giving back. And that's how I started looking at ways to get involved with the community. And so it started off with 3 girls, and 3 girls became 4, 4 became 9, 9 became 10, and as of now we have people who have done their degrees. That's one of the biggest story. And right now one of the girls is pursuing her coaching with Gunju training in Kanggui Hope. She is trying to appear for this NEET exam so that she can get into some sort of medical field, either nursing or medical doctors or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, Uncle. That's extremely inspiring. And Kanggui Hope focuses on educational as well as environmental awareness. Why did you choose these 2 areas specifically as your primary focus?
Initially, Kanggui Hope was just educational, and the Kanggui Hope still is very much educational, partly because education is so vital. And for me, if I did have a little bit of the education that I had, I won't be where I am today now. And I feel that a lot of young people all over Northeast India, we feel that we can just get by without proper education, and I don't think that's the right way to look at it. And I think we all need to get some sort of basic educations. At the end of the day, we have to face the rest of the world with competitions and all these things. So, and the environmental bit is sort of kind of part-time. I care about the environment issues as well, because we live in such a beautiful areas, hill areas, but we are not taking care of it. And as a Christian myself, I believe that God has put us to be the steward of this planet Earth, and we don't take that responsibility according to what God has intended us to. And that kind of bothers me. And this is why I've decided that, okay, let's plant trees, let's make sure that our children are educated enough about the importance of clean water, clean air, and in the long run it pays us back, it pays us back, and for the future generation as well, so that they can they have something to inherit, you know. So the way we are going right now, we're not going to live very much for the future generation. So that bothers me a lot, and this is why the educational part is important as well, but also the environmental part came much later, but then that is also still very much vital for a society.
Yes, sir. Coming back to a different topic, you have a cafe in France called Kafé Kanggui. How would you describe this cultural and social transition from India to France? And were there any significant moments of cultural shocks to you?
Any foreign country will shock you somehow. Moving to the UK was a much easier transition for me coming from India because we already speak the language. So, but when I decided to move to France, language was a barrier, and also there are certain areas where I find that I find very difficult in terms of how the society navigates different fields, especially religion, social norms, language, and stuff like that. So, but I think I love traveling. I've been to so many countries, so I feel that I have that, you know, what do you call, a little bit of an advantage in terms of navigating my life through different cultures, and because I've seen a lot of different cultures in my life. So France was difficult, but it's fun, and French people are very kind once you get to know them. And the language is not an easy one, but I'm still learning.
Yes.
I'm not fluent yet, so I still use a lot of English in my day-to-day life, even in France.
So now, what does home, the word home, mean to you? Is it Kanggui? Is it Europe, or somewhere in between the two?
Home will ultimately be Kanggui, you know.
Yes, sir.
Home will ultimately be Kanggui because I'm very attached to it, and I've always been like that. The reason why I've ventured away from home is because of economy, because of the financial stability that I looked for. Because, like I said in the beginning, having a really modest family, you know, structure, there wasn't much that I could do to make my life easier. I'm not after money, but I'm also after a life that is livable and enjoyable. So I do a lot of things now. Since I've lived in Europe, I'm able to help people back home in different areas, be it education, be it like medical stuff, and there are certain ways I contribute. I'm really grateful that I have the opportunity to do that. But at the same time, I also have now the capacity to travel. I've been to 37 countries so far, and I plan to do more this year. I run a lot, and now my running and my travels go hand in hand, because my future plan is that to go travel and also do a run. So the last 2 weeks I did one half marathon in Dubai, and then I came here and I did one in Aizawl. So that's how I want my life to be from now on, as long as I can do it, you know.
Yes,
so it's fun.
And you've also mentioned that cooking was just a passion before it became your profession. How did that transition happen, and does cooking still feel therapeutic to you?
Definitely. Cooking is always therapeutic, so is running. So I use both of these activities to de-stress and to unwind and stuff like that. And cooking is definitely, it was a hobby before I started the cafe, and I'm a people's person. I connect with people a lot and I network a lot. So for me, it's all about connections and friends and people around you. So when I used to cook as a hobby, I would share my cooking, and then with the feedback I got, I became more and more confident. So that's how I started the cafe. And obviously, there are some, you know, what do you call, a little bit of thought that goes into your mind that, oh my goodness, this is a job now. But then again, I still do a lot of other cookings where I invite friends. So for example, I also believe that cooking tells a lot of stories about you, you know. And if I cook tribal food, for example, it tells other people what kind of food I eat, how they are eaten. For example, I talk a lot about, I associate my life and my culture and my background a lot with food. So what we eat for Christmas, what we eat for weddings, and what we eat for anything, you know. So yeah, cooking is a hobby, a living, but it's still very much enjoyable. So the same kind of level with running at the moment. So I enjoy both of these activities very much.
Yes, uncle. I agree with that part. As my dad usually says, eating ministry. So he really believes in eating ministry, and I believe that you also share the same love for cooking and eating and having get-togethers and connecting with people in that way. And when you cook now, does it feel different from when it was a hobby, or does it continue carrying that personal joy, the same personal joy that you had initially begun with, or has it transitioned into something even better now?
I don't feel much of a transition when it comes to cooking. I still cook, and I still find it very present, like very much like, you know, enjoyable when I cook. And then I could just literally just be folding some samosas and some momos and baking a cake, and I would just listen to music, and that could really relax me. And it's quite funny because physically it gets really tiring, but then again I would be cooking all day. But after this thing, if I was like, oh my goodness, I need to go to the run, and I would just do a 10-kilometer run easily like that, you know, things like that. So these are, I don't find any of cooking as a job or cooking as a hobby, and if I don't find it like a hindrance to whatever I believe, you know, whatever I live for. So I still enjoy this a lot still.
That's
so
so
I'm very
nice to
happy.
hear. And as you had mentioned that running also plays such a huge role in your life. So we would like to know what pushed you to attempt this first marathon, like from the beginning of your marathons until now.
Running used to be punishment, you know, when I was in school. So you have to get up 6 in the morning. I was in Navodaya school, so which is like a kind of a government military style school. So we have to run every morning. And when I left that school, I was like, I'm never running again in my life, you know. So, but things changed. I grew up, and in 2007, the charity I used to work for was looking for some people who will run 10 kilometers and raise some funds for the charity. And then, without even a blink, I just said yes. And then a few minutes after, it dawned on me that I've just agreed to run 10 kilometers. So then that pushed me to start training. And then the first run after, this was long time after I've given up school and running. So I couldn't even do 2 kilometers, you know. Then I realized, oh my goodness, I can't do 2 kilometers. I'm supposed to run 10K. So then, you know, the fact that I agreed to do this for the charity, and the fact that I was going to raise money for this charity, that kind of pushed me to finish this 10 kilometer. And then from 10 it became half marathon, and then so far I've done 2 full marathons. And full marathons is not easy, but then again, do I really want to do another full marathon? Perhaps maybe with the right training, but so right now I'm concentrating on just doing half marathons. I do this for fun. It makes me more happy. I'm a different person after a long run. It's tiring, but I believe that it gives you so much happiness inside, and the stress is gone, the sleep is better, you eat better, and you're such a different person, a much happier person. So I recommend running for everybody. Not everybody is a runner. You really have to enjoy it like I do. And I have a lot of friends who are very fit, but they don't like running, so they never run. So I'm not saying that running is the only fitness that is in the world, but then again, I think if you can do it, it's free, you know. You don't have to pay a gym membership to go and run outside. So I think you should do it, you know. Next time we can do a Delhi half marathon together. So, yeah.
That sounds interesting. Yes, I bet. And how do you maintain this plethora of hobbies you have, especially while balancing work, activism, and your life abroad?
Okay, that's very interesting, because before, when I started the cafe, I was working literally by myself with just a couple of helpers. And fortunately, the cafe has done better than expected. So we are now in a position to employ 3 full-time members. And so I now have a little bit of time to do things when I'm free. So a lot of my free time I use it for the things that I like. So for example, running and a little bit of baking, extra baking, like not the cafe for the cafe, but for friends and for myself and everything. And I also do stand-up paddle, and during the summer, of course, not in the winter. The sea's too cold during the winter. So it can be difficult to juggle so many things, but I'm quite hyper, you know. I can't sit still. I have to do something all the time. So right now my weekly activities is like I join a CrossFit group with a few friends in my city on Tuesday evening. It's a very simple CrossFit group. Fun, and Sunday is usually for runs, and then occasionally during the week, if I have time, I either go for another run on my own or I go to the gym, and the rest is like just the cafe and just eat, sleep, and repeat.
That sounds nice, Uncle. And now that you combine running with traveling, how does exploring new cities through a marathon or run change the way you experience a place in general?
Very different. So I've seen Paris so many times, but when I did the Paris marathon, you know, I saw Paris on such a different light, and I saw Paris that I would not see normally. And the same happened with Barcelona. When I did the Barcelona marathon, that was my third visit. But then again, I saw Barcelona on a different angle again. And so I think when you're running through a city, you know, you are running to every nooks and corners, trying to complete these kilometers, and it gives you a different light. You meet people, you are running into lots of tourist attractions, you are running into a residential area, so you come across a lot of lifestyles and the way people live, the way people do things, you know. So it's a running, exploring the city by running is very much different than you as just a normal tourist, because as a normal tourist you just go from one museum to the next museum or to the lake or to the fort or the castle and stuff like that. But running is like you're literally running through the where people are walking in and out during the week all day. So yeah, it's different.
And for the final question, as you reflect on your journey from building Kanggui Hope to establishing Café Kanggui and then sustaining your work across countries, what experience have deepened your belief in hope and community, and what continues to inspire and guide you forward today?
Inspiration comes from different places. For me, when I come back to Northeast India, for example, when I see young people, a certain amount of disappointment is there, definitely. We live in a society where so many things are happening. Communities are being torn apart because of lack of good leadership, and it pains me to see this. But on the other hand, I see a lot of young people with so much resilience, you know. Given the right opportunity, we Northeast people are so capable of doing things, achieving things, and it's just my only concern is that, especially in the small towns and villages where I come from or surrounding areas, we aren't given enough opportunities. We aren't given enough exposure to go and dream bigger or achieve better, you know. And we seem to be stuck in our own little ways. And I think my future hopes and aspiration is that if I could only do something to make sure that I'm a part of the change that is the positive change that is supposed to come. That's my only inspiration. And then I think I'm at that age where I don't believe in accumulating lands and money and this and that, and I just want to live my life the way I want to and travel a little bit. And I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I eat well, I see places, but also I'm in a position to make some commitment to my people back home in terms of education, in terms of changes within the social setting and stuff like that. The religious setting, I don't try to go into, because I'm not a theologian and I don't know much about religion. So for me, I think it's all about investing my time and my whatever experience I have into young people. So I do visit schools whenever I'm in Kampopi. I interact with students. I'm not there to, as an expert, but I'm there as an experienced adult who can share what life can bring, if you have the right attitude. So yeah, that's my inspiration
Yes, Uncle.
for the future. Yeah.
Yes, Uncle. Thank you so much, Uncle.
Thank
for
you so
joining
much.
us.
Yes.
And see you all in the next video that comes out.
Thank you. Bye.